Over the years, editor emeritus and host of his own show over at the Daily Wire, Ben Shapiro has absolutely destroyed social justice warriors and leftists in numerous debates and contexts. We are going to react to some of his best moments here today on Speechless. Cut for time. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Speechless Cut for Time. I'm your host, 22-year-old conservative college student Kev Phares, host of Speechless on Cities 92.9, the news and talk of Bloomington Normal. But I don't necessarily want to bring everything to my radio show that I want to also cover on my YouTube channel, so I bring it right here for you in Cut for Time videos. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell, hit it to all, because we know ScrewTube tries to shadow ban me. We all know it. We see it. Look at it. It's happening. Share this video with your friends and comment what you think. Everybody, I have loved Ben Shapiro for quite a long time. He is one of the people that kind of got me into and learning more about conservative politics. And so what I've done, what a lot of what I like to watch is his absolute takedowns of leftists. It's where I learn a lot of some counter arguments to different things. And so I think it'd be worth the watch and the reaction to some of his best moments. And in studio with me to react to some of these as well is my good friend, Cat Peterson. How's it going, Cat?
It's going well. It's a great day when I get to listen to Ben Shapiro.
Oh, yeah. Very smart guy. Very, very smart guy. And everybody, you can go check out Cat Peterson's own YouTube channel, Cat Peterson 929 on YouTube. Subscribe to her channel. Check out her content. Great stuff. But let's get right on into it. Like I said, we just got a great compilation here from the Daily Wire. And so let's take a look and a listen to just some of these absolute takedowns. We'll react to it, break some of his arguments down and why they're so important. Let's take a look and a listen.
To come out transgender is horribly difficult, and being transgender is about the bravest thing you can do. Did she deserve the award?
65?
Yes.
Why are we mainstreaming delusion?
It's not delusion.
Why would you call it delusion?
Because Caitlyn Jenner, I'll call him Caitlyn Jenner.
No,
because
it's her. You're not being polite to the pronoun.
Because
disrespect.
Okay, forget about the disrespect. Facts don't care about your feelings. It turns out that
Facts don't care about your feelings. Boom. That's like where it originated from.
He's
Sorry
so
if
young.
I just...
He's so young in that photo.
Oh, he in this video, yeah, he is. This is one of his claims to fame when he first came out, because the facts don't care about your feelings and everything. Oh my God, I want to hear what he keeps saying to the argument, but I just love that line.
chromosome, every cell in Caitlyn Jenner's body is male, with the exception of some of his sperm cells. It turns out that it turns out that he still has all of his male appendages. How he feels on the inside is irrelevant to the question of his biological sex.
I don't agree with that. I'm not on that train. I'm not on that train. She wants to be called she. I'm going to call her she.
In terms of the science behind gender dysphoria, you're very familiar with that, Zoe.
Very familiar.
It's not about the chromosome. Excuse me, the chromosomes within our
both know
nuclei. Yeah,
chromosomes don't necessarily mean you're male or female.
Gender.
With gender,
that's false. That's false. It does, male and female. And here's the thing. And I don't know if Ben says this, but I think it's important to say, is that the thing is so they always try to say, no, man and woman is gender, male and female are sex. That's what they try to say, and they make it so convoluted, and they try to change the language, and that's exactly what this man is doing here, is saying chromosomes don't determine male or female. Well, even by your own ideology and what's pushed by people that agree with you, male and female is decided by chromosomes, because that's biological sex. Mm-hmm. But it's not about actually being in any way factually correct.
No, and it when you give teeth to this crap and to this nonsense,
Mm-hmm.
then you slide down this slippery slope. And I absolutely love it when people are like, oh, yeah, there's no harm in calling somebody she when he wants to be called the she, because we bend when, so for example, your full name, Kevin.
Yep.
You're called Kev.
Yep.
Right. So they tried to compare the pronoun thing to a nickname.
Mm-hmm.
That's way different.
Very different.
And they don't understand that once you give an inch, they're going to take a mile.
Mm-hmm.
Then they're going to take 10 miles. And now we're starting to see actual science being denied. Anthropologists, people who study bones. There was this huge conference, and this woman, she comes out, she's an anthropologist, she's been doing it for years, and she said, no, a female skeleton, we know what a female skeleton looks like, it's different.
Yep.
And she's written studies and studies after studies that prove this. And we had the American Anthropologists Association, and then the Canadian one,
Mm-hmm.
or Canadian Anthropologists Association, come out and denounce this conference that looks at female skeletons and male skeletons, and they look at the different biologies of those skeletons. And there's a conference about it, and they shut the conference down. They denounced the conference
because it went against the narrative. Let's see what else Ben has to say in this.
And their identity. Go ahead. No, so
especially, but even so, you have a thing like Klinefelter's syndrome. So you don't know what you're talking about. You're not educated on genetics.
Would you like to discuss the genetics?
No,
what are your genetics?
So I'd stay away from the genetics and back to the brain scans.
You cut that out now, or you'll go home in an ambulance.
Yeah, that seems mildly inappropriate for a political discussion.
No, I know. Well, but wait, to be fair, but to be fair, you're actually being kind of rude.
You're
and that's not fair.
I love how this guy is trying to defend the threat to violence of, you cut that out now or you are going home in an ambulance. And Ben so eloquently just goes, that seems mildly inappropriate for a political discussion.
Inappropriate.
Mildly.
Well, and then there's something I do not trust a man in a wig and tights. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
There's something that really just deter. How safe are you in that predicament when you're with a 6'2" man who has the emotions of a female?
Yeah.
It's just what do I do in this situation?
I have no idea.
I don't know how he kept his composure.
Well, that one was absolutely insane. But we're going to go to when he's talking with a college leftist now. Let's take a look at this one.
So I guess a lot of people don't know what your undergraduate degree was in.
So I was at UCLA in political science and then Harvard Law School.
Okay. So you don't have, you wouldn't consider yourself an expert in sociology?
I mean, I don't consider sociology a particularly expert field, but go ahead.
What I'm getting at is that you're not considered an expert in sociology, psychology, gender studies, lesbian dance theory, any of these things that you've brought up tonight.
I know a lot more about all those others than lesbian dance theory. As far as if you want to take issue with the argument, I would urge you not to use the argument from authority, which is somebody has a PhD by their name, they know what they're talking about. That's a dumb argument. I don't need a 7-year degree in sociology, no bullshit when I hear it.
You're also offering kind of an unqualified opinion on a lot of these topics.
See, again, you're just making the argument from authority. I don't think slapping a PhD from Phares State next to your name makes you an expert in all things in the field in which you propose to speak. Okay, the fact is that either my argument's good or my argument's bad. Citing to my credentials is a really bad way of making an argument. It's like it's actually the equivalent of, it's so funny, when people do this, it's the equivalent of actually a religious person saying, citing to the Bible for an argument. I'm a very religious person, right? I mean, see this? It's the yarmulke, okay? I'm a religious person, okay? I never cite to the Bible. The reason I don't cite to the Bible is because that's an argument from authority. Okay, you may not believe the authority to which I'm citing. I don't believe the authority to which you're citing. So you're going to have to make me an argument as to what I'm saying that's wrong instead of just saying I don't have the properly enumerated degree from the institution of your choice.
I'm merely citing academia. If you haven't done any significant study or any type of educational, you haven't established yourself as a PhD or a doctorate in any of these programs, so how can you make a qualified opinion on any of these topics is my question.
Because I have read the studies and I can have an opinion on them.
And that's your opinion and mine was just stated, so thank you.
Yes, that was my opinion.
Wasting his time, essentially. Wasting his time. And we got some more, but let's react. Okay, so for that one, the thing that was genius is, one, he just pointed out the logical fallacy, which is very true. I mean, I'm honest on my show a lot of the times. I am not by no means an expert in a lot of what I see. I believe that my opinion can be different from people and that it's worth sharing on the platform that I have. And so that's why I do what I do. I don't claim to be an expert, but the thing is that you don't have to be an expert to see a lot of the things that I point out.
So I actually I have a degree in journalism, and I got it from Illinois State University, and it's quite disgusting what that degree, what they tell you in your classes. So they'll tell you that you have to get a professor from some sort of university who has a PhD in something as an official voice when you're citing them in your stories.
Yeah.
So there has been this culture pushed by mainstream media, by journalists, so-called journalists, to only listen to so-called experts when really all they have is a degree in something.
Yeah.
And they are, I guess, it clarifies them or classifies them as some sort of expert on the subject. And it's just so So you know what I've started doing? He said that he doesn't use God as an authority in Tar. I've started using it.
Well, I understand that, but I think, but what he was
using
doing there was actually very smart in terms of trying to get the kid to understand, because I guarantee you that kid is who's coming up here and trying to own Ben Shapiro or whatever. He's probably the kind of person where if you were trying to have a debate on something like abortion with him or gender ideology, and if somebody were to cite the Bible and say like, well, God created man and woman, men and women that he created them. If you're trying to cite that part of Genesis, well, that guy would be like, well, I don't believe in God, and so it's non-relevant. And that's what Ben was trying to do is say, hey, here's an example of which you would also agree with me that an appeal to an authority or an appeal to something that you don't necessarily see as valuable does not work.
Yes.
That's what he was trying to do. And so that's why I think that was a very, very important thing to bring up and just shows the intellect and ability to argue. And obviously he's a Harvard law grad, so he has that logical train of thought and he has that quick wit that allows him to show and bring up such a solid argument in such quick time. But let's get to this next one when he's at Politicon a few years ago.
Rights does not make them appear. What makes more things appear is a market-based system that creates more doctors, that creates more medical care, that creates more incentive for people to join up. It is better to treat things as goods than as rights, because declaring something a right just means that you have the right to steal it from me. The basic name trickle-down economics is not something that any conservative even proposed. It's a leftist revision of what economics actually is, because you're not giving me the money. It was my money in the first place, created through voluntary transactions that I had with others. I've not stolen money from anyone, neither have you. And the idea that money has to be forcibly taken from you and handed to somebody at the bottom end of the economic spectrum to somehow jog the economy, that may jog McDonald's, but is not going to jog all of the creation of the products and services that make all of our lives much better today than they were 30 years ago in terms of the stuff we have access to. When you say money in politics is bad, again, I ask you, Buddy Roemer gave you $4 million to start TYT. What did he expect in return? Should he not have given you money? Was the money not speech? It was just money after all. It's just like a hooker, I assume. So are you the prostitute? How did this work?
There's many things you can't do with your money. And one of those should be bribing politicians, but we made it legal. So I'm curious what your opinion on that is. Do you think that they're just golly shucks? They just mean well? And
you're a lawyer, so you know that bribery requires two parties to the bribe. If I give money to a politician, there must be something in return. If there is no quid pro quo, there is no bribery.
You think there's nothing in return?
Well,
you think the politicians don't do those favors?
I think very often there is something in return, but I want you to point me to the things that are in return, not just say that all spending on politics ought to be forbidden except for the Young Turks. Young Turks is super successful. We have 80 million uniques. It's wonderful. Do you think Bernie Sanders would care more if you gave him $10,000 or if you dedicated your entire network to kissing his ass for an election cycle?
Jeez, destroy Cenk Uygur. For anybody who does not know, Cenk Uygur runs the Young Turks. He's basically like the Ben Shapiro of the leftists, or at least that's the way that he's framed, very much so. Obviously, very well known, especially in political commentary. And they were having a discussion not only on socialism, but also the idea of money in politics. And Ben uses the Young Turks' public statements about helping out with candidates and helping out with politics, maybe through a third party, though, to discuss how money is so steeped through politics.
Yeah. Well, and I didn't know who that guy was.
Really? You didn't know that?
I've never even heard of him. No, I know. I think I might have heard of him a little bit, but I mean, it just goes to show you Ben Shapiro. When you say that, that's a household name. Leftists know who he is. I know who he is. People on the right have no idea who that guy is.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he's sitting there trying to say that money should be taken out of politics entirely. And Ben Shapiro's, argument is that's stupid, because you're trying to imply that money just in general means bribery.
Well, the thing that he's doing, what he's really doing here, though, is there's that, first off, is that, but he's also not even making the argument that money shouldn't be taken out of politics. What his argument is, which is, again, genius, is that Cenk Uygur doesn't actually believe that. That's his argument, because he's saying you don't even need to have this argument, because you are already contributing to the money that's being in politics in multiple ways. One, through direct campaign donations, or through the fact that you're getting funding from lefties, people on the left, and then your network is consistently advocating for lefty politicians, lefty policies, everything like that. So in a way, you are also contributing to money in politics and to the problem that you supposedly are against.
Yeah.
And so he doesn't even have to attack money
if
should
you
be in
think about
politics or
it-
anything or defend that side of it, because it's just showing that this argument is baseless because you yourself don't even follow the belief that you have.
Yeah. Well, and nobody would, because if you look at it, all of it is money. We have taxation, right? And like every non-government organization lobbies. Like, I mean, our entire American way of life would not exist without money in politics.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't.
No.
Politics does you. You might not do politics. Politics does you.
Yep. Stephanie
And
Trussell
like
said
ComEd,
that.
ComEd, it's like they the electricity, they lobby for things that they want to get done and will have to do for their company. So it's just like, yeah, it's ridiculous.
Absolutely. Okay, we got one more to react to. Another instance of Ben Shapiro going after a college lefty who is coming after him about gender. Let's take a look and listen.
You say that some people don't have privilege when you basically just said that trans people aren't valid. They're not a thing. They're just girls pretending to be boys or boys pretending to be girls.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, someone's excited. Okay.
Biological, but gender is a completely different thing.
No, gender is not disconnected from sex. So.
It's not completely disconnected, but it's still a cultural thing. It's still from society.
Okay. No, it is not in the mind. Okay. You're not a man if you think you're a man. And I didn't say pretending, or if I did, I shouldn't have said pretending. Let me amend.
Playing.
Okay. I said a boy who thinks he's a girl. That's the usual phraseology I use. Not playing. I usually say a boy who thinks he's a girl or a girl who thinks he's a boy, which is technically what we're talking about here. As far as the actual psychological issues at play, it used to be called gender dysphoria or gender identity disorder. Now they call it gender dysphoria. The idea that sex or gender are malleable is not true. Okay, and I'm not denying your humanity if you're a transgender person. I am saying that you are not the sex to which you claim to be. You're still a human being, and you're a human being with an issue that I wish you Godspeed in dealing with in whatever way you see fit. But if you are going to dictate to me that I'm supposed to pretend that men are women and women are men, no. My answer is no. I'm not going to modify basic biology because it threatens your subjective sense of what you are.
Okay, but you're still saying these kids should like not be accepted because they don't really fit in either place. They can't just like.
I'm saying that the Boy Scouts have a standard. You must be a biological boy to be a Boy Scout. You have to be a boy to be a Boy Scout.
Where's that written though?
In the name Boy Scouts.
In the name Boy Scouts. I know that one goes on a little bit more, but I just want to talk about that part because that one went viral. Where is that written though? In the name Boy Scouts. But he also makes a phenomenal argument even before that. What he's saying is look, because this is what the left always tries to do. And I hate it. It's because you'll see during like trans LGBTQ protests where they'll get up and be like, I exist. Like you'll say I don't, but I do. And I'm like, I'm not denying your existence. I'm not acting like you just like are not there.
Yeah.
I know you're there, but I don't believe that somebody that is a biological man can become a woman.
Yes. And you can't force a belief down my throat. Much like I can't force people to believe that God is real.
Yep.
I can't do it.
No.
There's just like you do not believe that and you don't think that that's the truth. I believe it to be the truth. You might believe that you are in fact a woman when you are a man. But that's not the truth, and you're not going to get me to believe it.
No, and you're not going to get me to believe that. But once again, I hate that rhetoric of well, you're saying I don't exist. No, I'm not saying you don't exist. I can see you. If I were to like reach out and give you a handshake, I'd be able to feel your hand. You are a real person, and I have empathy, just like Ben said. Like I wish you Godspeed in dealing with your gender dysphoria.
Well, and the problem is that you have chalked up your entire existence to what's between your legs. Like that's really sad. Like my whole identity is not that I'm a female.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like my whole existence is not just based off the fact that I am a girl. It doesn't it just doesn't make sense.
Exactly. And so everybody,
Make it make sense.
there are so many. Make it make sense. That is like a consistent theme of the show, of what we see in the world. Make it make sense, everybody. And to help us make sense of it, don't forget to leave something in the comments. Let me know what you think, and to boost this video up a little bit, I'd really appreciate that. I love watching Ben Shapiro. I know that this I've done a lot of reaction videos recently, and I appreciate you guys watching them. We'll get back to some more news on my Sunday show this week and into next week, everybody. But don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment. Is there other kinds of things you want me to react to or talk about? Let me know. Share this video with your friends so everybody can get to see these amazing arguments from Ben Shapiro. Check out Kat Peterson on YouTube at Kat Peterson 929. She's a great show host, does amazing, great work. Kat Peterson 929 on YouTube. Subscribe to her channel. And everybody, until next time, like I said, like, subscribe, share, comment. And this has been Speechless. God bless you. God bless America. And this has been Speechless. Cut for time.